Hi, Jitendra.
Hi dear, please wait. Jayaprakash, please wait.
Hi, sir.
Hi. Hi Suresh, please wait dear for other student. 2 minutes, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Please turn off your mic. Please turn off. Okay, let's continue our topic. Everyone, let's continue our topic. Amir, Sunita, Bharti, Kursimran, Jayaprakash, Mustafa, Nilesh, Suresh.
Sure.
Let's start our session now. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, if you have any questions, so you can unmute your mic right now. Please mute your mic, everyone. If you have any question, then you can unmute.
Jitendra, can you please explain how we can set up the
Tomorrow, Suresh, I told you. We can set up our lab on Sunday.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, let's continue the topic today.
Okay.
So please turn off your mic, everyone. So we are here, we are trying to discuss this topic. It's called Introduction and Initial Configuration. And today we can focus on interface configuration. Interface configuration. So we can discuss here physical interface configuration on Fortinet firewall, physical interface configuration, and logical interface configuration. Physical means what? We can configure fast Ethernet 0/0 or 0/1. These are the data interfaces. We can configure physical interface or we can go with the logical interfaces. Can anyone tell me what about logical interfaces?
Virtually, we can create the logical interface.
Any example for logical interface?
VLAN interface.
Yeah, thank you. Wait. VLAN interface. Perfect. Thank you. Next interface, logical interface.
Like a loopback interface.
Loopback. Thank you. Loopback interface. Next one. Ether channel, right?
Ether channel, yes.
Ether channel.
Link aggregation.
Next one. Next one. In Fortinet, we can discuss redundant interface. It's called redundant interface, and we can also discuss one more concept. Is called software switch interface. So let's start our discussion. I'm using a small topology. See guys, I have one FortiGate firewall box with two interfaces. Port number 2 I'm using as a LAN port, and port number 1 I'm using as a WAN interface. So let me access this. Please wait. I'm trying to reset this firewall box because I was using this topology in another batch. In case if you want to reset your firewall box, guys, you can use this command: execute factory reset. For default factory reset. This will reset all your configuration. So first I will configure port number 1 because port number 1 we are using. If you remember guys, previous session, port number 1 we are using for management, right? So port number 1 I can configure through CLI option, and rest we can do with graphical page.
I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, Amir, any question?
Interface. What is the difference between these two?
Sorry?
Management interface and the LAN interface.
VLAN interface and
Management.
management. Management interface. Management.
VLAN.
Okay, wait. Your question is management interface and VLAN interface.
LAN interface.
LAN interface. Okay. See, management we are using. It's a part of control plane to access this FortiGate firewall box. If you have a high-end device, high-end firewall box, so you will get a dedicated management port like Palo Alto, like Checkpoint firewall box, like Cisco Firepower Threat Defense. You will get a dedicated management port. This is called out of band. You can
We can use the LAN interface.
wait, Amir, wait. So management port you can use to manage your firewall box. Okay, through SSH or through HTTPS. And LAN interfaces, these are called data interfaces, you can say. With LAN interfaces, you can connect your LAN network, WAN side, DMZ network. Clear my point, Amir? Now? Clear now, Amir? In case if you want to use any data interface or any LAN interface as a management port, you can, no problem.
Sir, what is the mean by WAN and DMZ port in the firewall?
What is WAN? Okay, WAN.
WAN and DMZ.
It's a term. It's not only related with Fortinet. It's a term. Can anyone help me? What is DMZ? What is DMZ? On firewall or any firewall device, we have three terms. Three words called LAN network, WAN side, right?
Yeah.
And DMZ. Sunita, can you help me?
Yes, sir. So DMZ is a zone. We assign particular group of interfaces or devices to that DMZ zone so that any traffic which comes to the firewall, it doesn't go directly. It will go through the firewall so that we can just monitor the threat and
why we require DMZ?
For any threat, if any threat comes to the network, or we need some specific servers or networking devices to be on a particularly secured area, we put them on this DMZ zone.
We can put our servers on DMZ zone. Okay. Any other can try? What about DMZ? Good, Simran. Do you have any idea about DMZ network? It's a common term, right? It's not related with only Forti. It's a common term. LAN, WAN, and okay, yes, good, Simran.
That's the only thing which I know. Like we put all the servers in the DML zone, so the traffic comes, so it has to go through the firewall before inspection.
Okay. Suresh, Amir, what about DMZ?
Yes, this will be a separate zone. Like we can connect with these on the servers. Okay. So
Amir, your voice is not clear. Are you using any headphone or earphone something?
Yeah, I'm using my AirPod.
Perfect. Now it's clear. Now please continue.
Yeah, I'm using my AirPod. Is clear?
Now it's clear. Please continue. What is DMZ?
This is the separate zone, and we can connect all the servers, like the critical server. Okay. So this is for the security reason, because like anybody will connect with our LAN, so they will not access the servers. Okay. So the LAN people can communicate with each other, but it will not communicate with the DMZ. I think so.
Okay, let me tell you that. See, what is exactly DMZ? See, let's talk about, for example, if we don't know anything about DMZ, for example, everyone, we don't know anything about DMZ. We have only LAN network and WAN site. So for example, these are the servers. For example, this is your web server, this is your SMTP, DNS server, FTP server, and in your LAN side, you have some company confidential servers, for example. And these are the LAN computers. Okay, these are the LAN computers. Now, for example, if you want to allow if you want to allow anyone, or if you want to allow a specific user or a specific IP address to access this FTP server, to access this web server, if you want to allow, so yes, you need to configure firewall policy. No problem, you can configure firewall policy to allow your traffic from outside to inside, outside WAN to LAN. You can configure firewall policy. How to configure firewall policy? It's a different task. But yes, you can configure firewall policy to allow your traffic from WAN to LAN. No problem. As per your policy, traffic is coming from untrusted network and trying to go onto the LAN side. As per your firewall policy, any specific IP address can only access this web server. As per your firewall policy, you can define here this specific source IP can come and can communicate with this destination web server only. So the point is, as per your policy, yes, this specific IP address can access this specific destination IP, no problem. But this traffic is coming from untrusted network, right? Nira, Suresh, this traffic is coming from untrusted network, public IP. They are just coming from WAN side. So it may be possible, okay, this traffic can compromise other servers because it's coming from untrusted network. Yes, this outside machine can only access web server as per your firewall policy, no problem. But it may be possible because traffic is coming from untrusted network. So it may be also possible this traffic, this outside user can compromise your other devices, other servers, your company confidential servers. It may be possible. So those servers, those servers you want to allow for your outside user, no need to put into the LAN site. What you can do, you can create a separate zone. What you can do, you can create a separate zone. It's called DMZ. It's a word only, okay? You can use any name, your name, my name, anything, no problem. But on firewall, we are using this keyword is called DMZ, demilitarized. We can create a separate zone here. This is a switch, and we can put all these servers, for example, web server, FTP server, SMTP server, DNS server. So these servers, I want to allow for my outside user, outside PC, they can access. So I can put these servers in a separate zone, is called DMZ zone. And now, if traffic is coming from outside this time, so as per my configuration, my firewall will redirect this traffic onto this DMZ side. So this outside user, outside PC, they cannot go onto your LAN side. So your LAN network is fully secured. Clear now? Clear now my point, everyone? Why we are creating a separate zone is called DMZ.
Got it, sir.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now. So let's come on to the topic. Okay. So here I'm trying to configure our port number 1. We have an entry level firewall box. That's why we are using our data interface port number 1 as a management port. Password, you can set 123.123. Config system interface, edit port number 1, set mode static, because I want to configure IP address statically. Set IP 192.168.1.190/24. Set allows HTTPS, ping, and SSH. To save your configuration, end command. Now you can open your browser. You can type here 192.168.1.190. Username is admin and password 123. So this is our graphical page. So now let's focus on our topic, interface configuration on Fortinet. So for interface configuration, first you can verify through CLI command, show system interface. So yes, we have IP address on port number 1, 192.168.1.190. Okay, services, port number 1. And on other interfaces, port number 2, port number 3, port number 4. So for interface configuration on graphical page, you can click on network. You can click on interfaces. Here you can get all physical interface information. See, these are the physical interfaces. So we have 4 physical interfaces, port number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Four physical interfaces. Now, you can see here port number 1, 192.168.1.190 and services. Now I want to configure port number 2, but with graphical page. And as
Sir, hello, sir, how to identify in that WAN port and DMZ in this screen?
You can plan, okay? It's not identify, Jayaprakash.
Yes,
You
sir.
can create a topology in your organization. You can create a topology. You can decide which port you want to use as a LAN or as a WAN or as a DMZ. You can decide.
Okay.
These are the data interfaces. Now you can decide.
Okay.
Like Jayaprakash, as per my topology, port number 1 I'm using as a
WAN.
First. And port number 2 I'm using as a LAN port. Done.
LAN. Okay, got it.
So now you can select port number 2, you can click on edit. So I'm trying to configure port number 2. So edit interface, and interface name is port number 2. Let's configure alias. What is alias? Alias is just like a description. Okay, for example, this interface I'm using for LAN network. So I'm giving a description, for example, LAN. Now you can see here on Fortinet, in Fortinet, we have a predefined role. If you click here, you can see, guys, we have LAN, WAN, and DMZ. These are the predefined roles. Like Cisco ASA, if you guys are familiar with the Cisco ASA, so we have a predefined keyword. It's called inside. If you are working with Cisco ASA firewall, so we have a predefined keyword. Like, for example, this is fast Ethernet 0/0. If you go onto this interface and if you type this predefined keyword is called inside, so automatically this interface will get a security level 100. It's a default feature on Cisco ASA. Default, same on Fortinet. We have default role like LAN, WAN, and DMZ. If you go with the LAN option, LAN role, so option is change. If you go with the WAN option is change. See, if you go with the DMZ role, option is change. So you can select your role as per your requirement. Right now I'm using undefined. It means I will decide all the configuration. So I'm using right now undefined. Now you can see, guys, we have addressing mode. So to configure IP address, we have two options. Either you can go with the static IP address configuration method, manual, or you can go with the DSC. One arm sniffer, it's not related with IP address configuration. One arm sniffer is a packet capturing option. Okay, in Palo Alto firewall, you can say tab interface. Sunita, remember in your Palo Alto session?
Yes, sir.
We have an interface type is called tab interface.
Yeah.
In Fortinet, you can say one arm sniffer.
One arm.
It's the same concept. So this one arm sniffer we can discuss in logging and monitoring here, but right now our focus is on interface configuration, IP address configuration. So let's go with the manual or DSCP.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in FortiGate, we have in few firewalls, we do have the WAN ports separately, right? In few
no,
FortiGate
you can use your data interface, Sunita. You can use any data interface as a WAN port, as a LAN port.
So
any
it's not defined
no,
it's on WAN 1, WAN 2?
No, you have all your data interfaces, okay?
Okay.
You have all your, for example, let me show you. See, this is what a Fortinet fabric, right? These are the ports. So now you can decide. You have multiple data interface like fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet ports. Now you can decide which interface you want to use, like fast Ethernet port or gigabit port as a WAN. Clear now?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Now, so I want to configure IP address manually. So let's go with the manual option. IP address I'm configuring as per our topology 200, 200, 200 plot 1. So 200.200.200.1/20/24. This is IP address configuration. Now here we have some services. By default, on data interface, nothing is allowed. See, these are the services. These are the services you can allow, you can enable onto this particular port. For example, for graphical access, you can enable HTTPS. For connectivity, you can enable ping service. What is FMG access? If you want to allow Forti manager, in Fortinet, we have a separate device is called Forti manager to manage multiple FortiGate power box from a centralized location. We have a separate device, separate product in Fortinet. It's called Forti manager. So if you want to allow Forti manager to access this FortiGate power box through this interface, so you have to enable FMG access. In graphical page, this is called FMG access. So FMG access, SSH, SNMP, Forti token, radius accounting, security fabric, multiple options we have. Right now, I'm trying to enable ping service only right now. One service, ping service. Now, onto this particular port, you can enable LLDP. Can anyone help me for LLDP? What is LLDP?
Link local device
Link
protocol.
link layer.
Sorry, link layer.
Link layer.
Discovery protocol.
Thank you so much. So why we are using LLDP option?
We are find out the neighbor devices. Using this protocol, we are using neighbor devices.
But we have CDP, Suresh. We have Cisco Discovery Protocol.
Cisco.
CDP we can use on Cisco only, right?
But
Yes.
this is IEEE standard, right?
Yes. See guys. So for neighbor discovery, we can go with the CDP protocol, but CDP is enabled on Cisco devices only. We can use only in Cisco scenario. But right now we are working with Fortinet. So for neighbor discovery, we can go with the open standard protocol, LLDP. It's an open standard protocol. This is what a CCNA topic. This is CCNA. What is LLDP? It's a CCNA routing switching concept. Here I'm telling you how to enable link layer discovery protocol, LLDP. In case if you are working with multi-vendor scenario, like Fortinet, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Cisco ASA, Juniper. So you can, in case if you want to know about your neighbor detail information, your directly connected devices information. So yes, you can go with the LLDP. By default, LLDP is disabled. If you go on to the any vendor, LLDP is disabled by default. You have to enable manually. See, either you can go with the enable option or disable. In LLDP, we have a option to decide to receive LLDP packets or transmit LLDP packets. I'm not going in LLDP concept. This is routing switching. If you want to know, so please visit our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, yes, we have a dedicated video for LLDP concept. But yes, in case if you want to enable, you can enable, disable, up to you. Mustafa, can you hear me? Mustafa?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mustafa? Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So now we can enable DSCP service. Now you can enable DSCP service onto this particular port. We are using IP address 200.200.201. So our range starts with 2 to 254. Why DSCP? For example, in your LAN side, you have multiple computers, for example. Multiple computers. And you want to provide IP address onto these machines through DSCP service. No problem, you can enable DSCP onto this particular interface on port number 2. See, you can enable DSCP. You can see DSCP concept is same, everyone. Concept Nilesh is same. Okay, what is DSCP concept? Remember guys, in DSCP we can create a range of IP. We can decide mask, we can decide gateway, we can decide DNS, we can decide lead time. Concept is same. Here you can configure. I'm not configuring, I'm giving you an idea. So you can enable DSCP service. Right now, what I'm doing, I'm trying to configure IP address onto this port. So 200.1/24. Click on OK. Click on OK. See, LAN port number 2, IP address 200.201, mask and ping service. Any problem? Clear now, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Nilesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jitendra.
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now this is what physical interface configuration. So what you can do is you can select your port, you can click on edit and configure your interface as per your requirement. Now let's talk about logical interfaces. For logical interfaces, you can click on create new here, click on create new, you can click on interface, and you can see you have multiple options. See, multiple options like aggregate interface, loopback interface, redundant interface, software switch interface, VLAN interface, Wi-Fi SSID is not your topic. So you can configure these logical interfaces. Let's start our discussion with VLAN interface, where we can use this concept, where we can use VLAN interface. Wait. So for example, I am working in a small scenario. I have a 1 FortiGate firewall box. 1 FortiGate firewall box. And this FortiGate firewall box fast Ethernet 0/0 is connected with a switch. And with switch, we have a connectivity with multiple VLANs, for example. Multiple VLAN. This is called VLAN 10. Here we are using 192.168.10.0 network. VLAN 20. 192.168.20.0. Please turn off your mic, everyone. Please, if you have any question, you can unmute. 20.0. Then VLAN 30. 192.168.30.0/24/24. So in our LAN side, we have multiple VLANs. In each VLAN, I'm using different subnet. Because it's a different VLAN. So what I need to do, see, I required a gateway for each VLAN. I required a gateway, right? For 10.1, for 10.0, for 20.0, for 30.0. I required a gateway. Right now we have 3 VLAN. So for each subnet, I required a gateway. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
We
Yes,
need a
sir.
gateway. We need a gateway. Now,
I have some small question here.
sure.
Yes, as we have VLAN concepts, okay, because VLAN is also, we need to separate the networks, okay. So why we are using DMZ? We can
Why
use
we are using
DMZ.
DMG?
Yeah,
DMG is it's a network, it's a zone, okay, Amir. In DMZ, you can create multiple VLANs.
yeah, but the DMZ also we use for the security, yes.
See, okay, wait, let me clear one more time. DMZ we are using, see, we can put all our servers, like these servers, FTP, SMTP, DNS, web servers. These servers I want to allow to my outside user, Amir.
Okay.
They can hit onto this firewall interface, and my firewall will redirect this traffic to the DMZ. This traffic, this untrusted traffic, is not going to your LAN side. It's not going on your LAN side. So you are trying to secure your LAN network.
Yes. Okay. Great.
Okay. Okay, everyone. So for each VLAN, we require a separate subnet, right? Okay, guys, please wait 1 minute. I'm coming. Everyone, please wait.
Va a sembrar en un atractivando si igual que en tabla que sigue, ¿no? Nombre de pro. Se te dice que lo será sobre plan. Saido. De camino charlo. Saido.
Can you please mute the mic if someone is unmuted? Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Let's continue our topic now. Okay. Everyone can hear me? Prakash, Mustafa, Nilesh, Sunita, Suresh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Please turn off your mic. Please turn off your mic. So we have 3 different VLANs. So for each VLAN, we require separate gateway. But these VLANs are connected with a switch, and this switch is connected with the single interface. Onto the single interface, we can configure single IP address. But as per this subnet, as per these subnets, we require 3 separate gateways. So what we can do, if you guys remember your CCNA concept, CCNA routing and switching. So remember sub-interfaces concept. Behalf of a single physical interface, you can create multiple sub-interfaces. Remember, everyone?
Yeah.
In
router, we are creating sub-interface.
Yes, sub-interface. Okay, now. So we can create sub-interfaces here. What we can do, we can create VLAN, for example, VLAN 10, IP address 192.168.10.1. Now VLAN 20, 192.168.20.1. VLAN 30, IP is 192.168.30. So for each VLAN, for example, for VLAN 10 computers, this IP address is acting as a gateway. For VLAN 20, this IP address is acting as a gateway. For VLAN 30, this IP address is acting as a gateway. So behalf of this single physical interface, you guys can create multiple VLAN interfaces. Okay, can anyone help me for this interface? Sunita, what about this interface? This interface should be
tagged
access port, right?
Tagged port.
This port should be access port, right?
No.
No, sir. Trunk port.
Thank you so much. Trunk link. So this port should be trunk link. Why trunk? Because trunk consists VLAN database, right?
Yes.
Getting multiple VLAN traffic.
Okay, so what we have? Trunk link. So this is what scenario where we can create multiple VLAN interfaces. So let's create VLAN interfaces here as per our discussion. So now you can see, guys, we have 2 physical interfaces, port number 3, port number 4. So let's take example. This is our port number 3. So port number 3, this one. So let's go to the create new interface. You can give a name here. It's called VLAN 10. Now alias. So for marketing, for example, interface, I have a single interface, port number 3. So you can select VLAN ID. So you can add your VLAN tag. So VLAN 10 IP address 192.168.10.1/24 ping service. Click on OK. Now you can click on again. You can click on create new again interface. Now I'm giving a name VLAN 20 for sales. interface, port number 3, VLAN ID, VLAN 20, and IP address 192.168.20.1/24 ping service. Click on OK. Now create new interface VLAN 30 for HR, for example. I have a single interface, port number 3. VLAN ID, VLAN 30, IP address 192.168.30.1/24 ping service. You can click on OK. See, if you expand now this port number 3, so you can see guys all VLAN interfaces. Clear now how to create VLAN interface?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's click on create new, click on interface, and now let's talk about another logical interface. It's called aggregate interface. What is aggregate interface? Okay, guys, remember ether channel? Can anyone help me for ether channel concept? You guys are familiar with the CCNA topic, that's why I'm asking. Ether channel, remember? Everyone, what is ether channel?
Combining multiple links.
Combine the multiple links. Perfect. Okay, yes.
Bonding of two or more interface together to increase the availability and the bandwidth.
Okay, availability is a different thing, Sunita. And for availability, you can create redundant interface. Here what we are doing in ether channel, what we can do, we can aggregate the bandwidth. We can combine multiple physical interface, right, everyone? And we can create a single logical instance. Logical instance. For example, this is what port number 1, port number 2, port number 3. And on each interfaces, what we have? Speed 1 Gbps, 1 Gbps, 1 Gbps, 1 Gbps. So we can combine 3 interfaces. We can combine these 3 physical interfaces and can create a single logical port. Single logical port with 3 GB speed. Right, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, please help me. Remember, if you remember CCNA concept, so for ether channel configuration, we have 2 protocols. Please help me.
LACP.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. LACP and PAGP.
Yeah, Cisco proprietary, and that is IEEE.
Link aggregation, right? It's called port aggregation. Thank you so much. This is not a CCNA class, but let's revise. Okay. So in LACP, what we have more. Wait, guys, please. Suresh, Gursanan, please wait. Mustafa, Nilesh.
Yes.
Mustafa, in LACP, we have more. Can you please tell me? In LACP,
I don't remember.
More. Okay, no problem. Nilesh, in LACP, we have more.
No idea.
Okay. Wait, guys, wait. Arjun, in LACP, we have more.
No idea, sir.
Okay. Sunita, in LACP, we have what?
Active passive.
Thank you so much. And in PAGP?
Auto and active.
Auto and desirable.
Okay, sorry, desire.
Auto and desirable. I'm not going into this topic, but you can revise, okay? If you don't know, please revise your CCNA.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's come on to the topic. So what we have, so same ether channel concept.
Jitendra, I have doubt.
Yes.
See, here we are combining the 3 links, but we could not get the 3 gigahertz, 3 Gbps, right? See, depend on the hash value, it will flow the traffic.
Depend upon?
Hash value.
Hash value.
Protocol wise, source balance, source.
Yes, see, Suresh, I'm not going in deep. If you talk about load balance or something, I'm not going deep, okay?
Okay.
No, please. This is not a CCNA class, please.
Okay.
No. Okay. I'm not talking about in deep, okay? Load balancing technique, no. So what I'm doing, guys, so you can combine multiple interfaces and you can create a single logical instance. This is called ether channel concept. This is CCNA concept, and this concept you can implement on Fortinet. Like not only Fortinet, you can implement on Palo Alto, Checkpoint Firewall Box, Cisco Firewall Threat Defense. So you can create Ether channel. Let me tell you the option. I think right now I have a single interface. Please wait. Let me add more interfaces. Wait. Okay, so let's create Ether channel. You can click on create new, you can click on interface. And now you can select your interface type, aggregate. You can give a name, for example, Ether 11, just a name, just. Now you can attach your interface information. For example, port number 7 and 8. Okay, or 6. So you can combine multiple interfaces. And now you can give an IP address to this because it's a L3 Ether channel. If you guys remember CCNA, so we have two types of Ether channel. We can go with the L2 Ether channel or L3 Ether channel. So this is L3 device. So we are talking about L3 Ether channel. So we can configure IP address here. For example, 20.20.20.1/24. Just an example, you can select your service. You can click on OK. Now you can see, guys, we have Ether channel, Ether 11. This is what aggregate in Fortinet. You can say aggregate interface and members, port number 7, port number 8, IP address onto this Ether channel and ping service. Now you can click on create new. You can click on interfaces. And now let's talk about next one is called loopback. So loopback is a common topic, right? We can create loopback on other devices. So like other vendor, we can create loopback here for testing. For example, loopback 1 or loopback 10 alias for testing. IP address 30.30.30.30/32. Why /32? Why /32? I can use /32
single IP.
Because this is a logical interface. This is a single IP. This loopback interface, we are not connecting any device with loopback interface. That's why we can go with the /32. Ping service, click on OK. Now you can click on create new. You can click on interface. Now we can talk about the next logical interface is called redundant interface. See, guys, so we have a difference. We have a difference in between aggregate interface and redundant interface. In aggregate interface, what we are doing, we are trying to aggregate the bandwidth of these links. But what about this redundant interface? See, let me tell you the scenario. So this is our firewall device, for example, our firewall. And here we have interfaces. These are what data interfaces, for example. Data interfaces, port number 6 and port number 7. Port number 6 and port number 7. So port number 6 is connected with a switch, for example. It's connected with a switch. Wait. Both ports. Both interfaces are connected with a switch. This is data interface, for example. So we have a IP address, for example, onto this port number, say proper IP address configuration. You can say proper interface configuration on port number 6. IP address, alias, services, LLDP, everything is configured onto this port number 6. So traffic is traveling. Traffic is traveling via this port number 6. Perfect, no problem. Now, in case if this port down, for example, maybe some problem, some issue, some interface down, some issues, this interface is not working, then what you can do is, in real scenario, what you can do, you can unplug this cable, right? You can unplug this cable, yes or no? You can unplug this cable and you can attach this cable with next port, port number 7, right? Everyone, yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Sunita, Suresh.
So it's
Yeah.
a
Prakash.
physical interface, right?
Yes, it's a physical interface.
Yeah.
If port number 6 is down, maybe some issue, some problem. So what we can do, we can unplug this cable and plug into the next port, this cable. And we need to configure same IP address, everything here on port number 7. It's down right now. So we can configure everything and now traffic is traveling. This is a manual task. This is a manual task. If port is down, you can unplug your cable, plug into the port number 7, then you can configure everything. This is a manual task. Here, what we can do, we can talk about interface level redundancy, you can say. What we can do, we can combine these two interfaces. Guys, this is a common topic. Redundant interface is a common topic. You can configure this option in Cisco Firewall box also. So we can combine these two interfaces. We can combine these two interfaces and create a single logical instance. It's called redundant interface 1, for example. So here we have one interface is active and another interface is passive. Traffic is traveling via active interface. If port is down, no problem. IP is configured here. Port is down, no problem. Now traffic, this passive interface is up now. This is active and now traffic is traveling via port number 7. Clear the concept, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So same option we can redundant interface we can create here. See, you can give a name. It's called red 1, for example, red 1. Now interfaces. So yes, we have. Okay, let's go with interface type. Now interfaces. So we have port number 4, 5. Now IP address 30.30.30.1/24. No, I think we are using 40.40.40.1/24. Now ping service, click on OK. So here we have our redundant interface. Now you can click on create new again, click on interfaces. And now we have another concept is called software switch interface. This concept we can discuss in our layer 2 firewall. Yeah.
Sir, excuse me. In the redundant interface, how many ports we can add up for
You can add multiple ports, no problem. But 2 interfaces. Most of the time we are using 2 interfaces.
2 interface. Yes. And is there any like if the port number 1 goes down, the traffic will travel from
other
the
interface will take the responsibility.
Yeah, and if the port 1 comes up, like
it will become active again.
Active again. Okay.
Yes. Clear now, everyone? Mustafa, Nilesh.
Yes.
This is our interface configuration. And see, now let's talk about one more point in interface code. One more point. Guys, Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall, right? Everyone, Palo Alto firewall and Checkpoint firewall and Cisco FTD. These are what? These are zone-based firewall. So here we can create zones. We can put our all interfaces into their respective zone. We can do this. In Fortinet is not a zone-based firewall. Remember all this. We can create zone here, no problem, but it's not a zone-based firewall. Okay, see, if you click on create new, you can see this concept is zone. But this is not a zone-based firewall. What is zone here in Fortinet? You can combine multiple interfaces and you can put in a zone. And zone is not a zone, it's an interface.
Mm-hmm.
For example, our trust interface, trusted interface. For example, interface. So I can combine, for example, this VLAN 10, this port number 3, this LAN port number. We can combine multiple interfaces and can put in a zone. It's called what? It's called trusted interface. So for example, if I'm configuring my firewall policy,
Can you explain any use case for that?
I'm telling you, Suresh, I'm telling you here in firewall policy. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay.
So now you can create in case if you're configuring your firewall policy, you can click on create new. So this time, if you talk about incoming interface, this time I'm not selecting any particular port. Now I have what? Single option. You can select this trusted interface, and now into this trusted interface, you have 3 interfaces: LAN port number 2, port number 3, and for no need to add each interface separately. Clear now my point?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
So this is what this is called our first topic. This is our first topic today. It's called introduction. And yes, Mustafa, any question?
Yeah, just want to go back to VLAN if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
We have created VLAN in the firewall, correct? But
Yes.
this can be done on the L3 switch as well instead of firewall.
Mustafa, VLAN is a concept.
Yeah.
This concept you can configure on switches. It's a switching concept. But this interface, these are the what? These are the kind of sub interfaces. On Fortinet, we are saying what? VLAN interface, but these are called sub interfaces.
Okay.
Behalf of your single feature interface, you have now multiple sub interfaces. These are the sub interfaces. In Fortinet, you can say VLAN interface.
Oh.
Clear now?
Sure. But the default IP can be done on the L3 switch, right? Not needed. In case of
yes, it's a switching concept. It's a switching concept.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thanks.
If you remember, a sub interface concept on router, it's the same. Jayaprakash, any question?
Yeah. No, sir.
Okay, so this is our first topic. Yes. Yes, Amir, any question?
Yes. So we will consider later the VLANs, because we will for the default gateway we will use logical default gateway.
Exactly. Yes.
So
if you guys remember sub interface concept in CCNA, this is the same topic as it. In CCNA we are using dot. In CCNA we are using dot option. If you guys remember, for example, if I have a Cisco router. So behalf of this single physical interface, I can create multiple sub interfaces. It's called fast Ethernet 0/0.10, fast Ethernet 0/0.20. So we can create with dot, right? Amir?
Yes.
Same concept. So this is
so we will create one. My question is
yes, Amir.
We will create lab regarding these topics.
Sorry, Amir. Can you please repeat your question?
Yes, sorry to disturb because today I don't have a mic, so that's why my sound is
no problem, Amir. You can ask your question. No problem.
Yes. So I think my question is there that later we will configure the late for this one.
You can configure in your topology. You can configure. I'm giving you the option how to create your interfaces. In your topology, you can create. No problem.
Okay.
Yes. Here I'm giving you the option how to create physical interfaces, how to configure physical interface, how to create logic interface. Now, in your scenario, you can decide. In your topology, for example, here if you have your own topology, you can create as per your requirement. Clear now? This is our first topic, guys. It's called introduction and initial configuration. Now we can focus on next topic. It's called routing. So let's take a break for 10 minutes, then we can continue. We can start. We can continue with routing also. 10-minute break, everyone. Amir, Anita, Arjun,
Sure, sir.
T,
Okay,
Gursimran, Priya Prakash, Nilesh, Suresh,
Sure.
Mustafa. Okay. Please turn
sure.
off your mic, everyone. Please turn off your mic. Okay, everyone can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's start our topic. Next topic is called routing configuration on Fortinet Hub. So remember routing concept. See guys, we are working with firewall. We are working with firewall. So, and on firewall, we can use our firewall features. So why we are going with the routing concept? So like, like other vendor, Fortinet is giving you the option in case if you want to connect your firewall with internet, or if you want to configure routing on your firewall, so you can, no problem. You can configure routing concept. And please turn off your mic. Please turn off your mic. So remember in routing, we have multiple options. In routing, you can go with the static routing, default routing, and dynamic. In dynamic routing, you can discuss multiple protocol. It's called RIP, OSPF, and BGP, right?
Yes, sir.
So, Nilesh, what is static routing? Nilesh,
Yes, sir.
what is static routing? Static routing. Mustafa, what is static routing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so static like one-to-one.
No, static routing. Static routing. Wait. Where is Arjun? Sunita, please turn off your mic. Amir, please turn off your. Yeah. Amir, you are outside.
Yeah, I'm outside. Yes, yes.
Okay, so Jayaprakash, what is static routing?
We have to assign the IP address to them manually.
Manually. Okay, we can create our destination entry manually, right? Okay, what about default routing? Can anyone help me?
So we don't know the destination, so that any packet has to go through this default gateway, default routing.
Thank you. And most of the time we are using default routing towards ISP, right?
Correct.
For any unknown
Because we don't
destination,
know exactly.
we can, for any unknown destination, we can configure default routing. Okay, what about dynamic routing? What about RIP? RIP always work with bandwidth, right, everyone? RIP
Hop count.
always, thank you so much. RIP always work with hop count. Hop count. Maximum hop count?
15, 16.
15, thank you so much.
15.
15. Okay, what about OSPF? In OSPF, we have open shortest path first. OSPF is called what? Open shortest path first. And in OSPF, we can create multiple areas. And remember, guys, area 100 is a backbone area.
0.
Wait. Sunita, wait.
I'm so
Wait. Guys, area 0, no, area 100 is a backbone area, remember? Nilesh, Mustafa, Jayaprakash, Parthi. Kursimran, yes. Area 100.
No.
Okay. So, which one is a backbone area or transit area?
Area 0.
Thank you.
0.
And remember the rule, all the area must be directly connected with the area.
Connected to area 0.
If you have multiple areas. Now, what about BGP, Border Gateway Protocol? BGP is called EGP, Exterior Gateway Protocol. Exterior Gateway Protocol.
But we have IBGP. Oh yeah.
IBGP and EBGPS.
IBGP.
In BGP, we can connect multiple AS number.
Yes.
Okay. So you know, guys, these options we can configure on Fortigate. Okay. So I'm not telling you the storyline. I'm not telling you storyline, what is static routing, what is default routing, what is rep OSP. No. Here I'm telling you how to configure. I'm telling you how to configure static, default, and dynamic routing on Fortinet firewall box. So let's go on to the graphical page. So I have a small topology. I have a small topology with WAN interface and LAN interface. So yes, I have IP address onto this port number 1. So I'm trying to configure default route. Okay, let's create a different topology. Wait, guys. Good, Simran, please turn off. Arjun, please turn off your mic. Everyone. And please wait 5 minutes. I need to create a separate topology. So we have a small topology. Port number 1, I'm using as a management port. Port number 2, I'm using as a LAN side network. So LAN 200.0/24. Port number 3 is acting as a WAN side network. So WAN 10.1.23.0 network. Now, for routes, I'm creating loopback on each router. So 1.1.1/32. And this is R2 is what? It's an ISP site. So 2.2.2.2/32. Right click, let's start. And first I will configure IP address on port number 1. This is management port. This cloud is what? This cloud is my laptop.
Topology is not shown to us.
Topology is not showing. And what about other? Everyone?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Arjun?
it's visible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But it is small, I think.
Are you using any phone, something? Mobile phone or laptop?
It's my laptop.
Okay.
I'm
Wait,
just
wait,
reading,
wait,
but
wait,
small
wait.
size.
Let me share again. What about now?
Yes, now, yes, yes.
Okay. Let's configure IP address on port number 1, config. Set mode static, IP address 192.168.255.190. In my topology, I'm using this IP address. In your topology, you can use different. Okay, everyone, please wait 2 minutes. Guys, please wait 1 minute. Okay, everyone. So I'm trying to configure IP address as per topology. I'm trying to configure IP address on port number 2 and port number 3. You can see as per our topology. So port number 2 is a LAN port. So let's configure it IP address onto this interface. Alias is LAN. IP address 200.200.200.1/24 ping service. Click on OK. Port number 3. Edit. Alias WAN. IP address 10.1.23.1/24 ping service. Basic IP address configuration on both interfaces. Basic IP address configuration. You can verify, show. You can verify here, show system interface, IP address on port number 2, IP address on port number 3. Let's configure IP address on router as per our topology. So R1, you can see guys, fast Ethernet 0/0 as per our topology. 200.200.10 I'm using. 255.255.255.0/24. Let's create a loop back for routes. So 1.1.1/32. Show IP interface brief. Let's go on to the R2. So fast Ethernet 0/0 IP address 10.1.13.10 255.255.0. No shutdown. We can create a loop back. 3.3.3 mask. Show IP interface brief. Any problem in basic configuration?
No, sir.
No.
Everyone? Okay. Please turn off your mic. Now, so now we can implement here static and default routing. Static and default routing. So our focus is on what? How to configure static and default routing on FortiGate firewalls. So I'm configuring static route for LAN side and default routing for WAN side. This is our task exactly. So let's go on to the firewall device. You can see here. You can click on network. In network tab, you can see this option. It's called static route. See, this option you can use to configure static and default routing. And these are what? These are called advanced routing option. RIP, OSPF, and BGP. These are called advanced routing option. In case if you are working with a firewall device and you are not getting these options, in case if these options are not visible, in case, what you can do, you can go into the system. You can click on feature visibility. In feature visibility, see, advanced routing option is enabled. That's why RIP, OSPF, and BGP, these options are visible. If it is disabled, for example, if disabled, then now you can check. You can click on network tab. You can click on network tab. You can see now you can only configure static route. There is no any option for advanced routing. So if not visible, so you can go into the system, click on feature visibility, and in core feature, you can enable your advanced routing concept. You can enable, click on apply. Now let's go on network tab again, network tab, and now RIP was BFN BGP. But right now our focus is on static and default routing configurations. You can click on static route, this option, static route. Now click on create new. So from here we can create entry. This is not a routing table. Okay, this is not a routing table. Here we can create an entry. You can click on create new. You can click on create new and see I'm trying to create static route entry. Static route, or you can say default route. So you can see that guys, we have a same syntax. If you guys remember static and default routing in CSNA. So here we have a same syntax. See, it's asking for destination. Then next hop IP, it's called gateway and exit interface. So for destination, we have two options, subnet, or you can go with the internet services. Let's talk about subnet first. Subnet first. So if you know about destination, if you have destination information, so you can define destination subnet here. As per our topology, I want to configure static routing for LAN side, default routing for WAN side, right? So you can go on to the firewall device. You can see here on R1 we have a loopback. So what we have 1.1.1.1/32. So to go to this particular destination, your gateway is 200, 200, 200.10 and exit interfaces LAN port number 2. Now here we have an administrative distance. What is the administrative distance? Can anyone help me? What is AD value? Suresh, wait. Suresh, wait. Jayaprakash, what is AD value?
Yes.
Jayaprakash? No?
No idea.
Jayaprakash, please revise your CSNA, okay? Gursimran?
It's kind of priority value or?
Okay, no. Priority value is a different thing. I'm talking about administrative distance. Gursimran?
Is the best path cost to reach the destination?
It's
Okay. Yes, Ulita?
it's the trustworthiness, like so that we can just how according to this value we can trust the link, the
We can
protocols.
trust the route.
Yes.
Least AD value is more preferred, right?
More prefer, yes.
Suresh?
Yeah, this
Right.
administrative
So-
routing preference.
Yes, and see if you guys are working
Lowest
with
lowest number is the
more
highest
preferred.
preference.
If you guys are working with Cisco devices, so remember for static and default routing, AD value is 1. But in Fortinet, to configure static and default routing here, we have an AD value 10. No problem. You can click on OK. So this is our entry, first entry. You can see guys, to go onto this particular destination, you can go via this gateway, exit interface LAN port number 2, status is enabled, and administrative distance is 10. Now,
So
what is
it's
priority
by
value?
default is a 10 or but
Yes,
in,
by default,
Cisco-
on Fortinet it's a 10. If you want to change, you can change, no problem. Value is varying between 0 to 255.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about priority value? We'll discuss later. What is priority concept? But this is the entry. Now let's create an entry, default route entry. I'm trying to configure default route towards ISP side. So you can go on to the firewall. You can click on create new. So what is default routing syntax for any network, any mask? Gateways 200 or not 200. As per our topology, we are using 10.1.23 network. So 10.1.10.1.23.10. Exit interface is port number 3. Now you can click on OK. So we have two entry. For a known destination, you can go via port number 3. AD value is 10. So this is just an entry. If you want to verify routing table information, so you can go on to your FortiGate firewall box, and here you can type command get router info routing table on. This is the command to verify your routing table information. Get router info, routing table on. So yes, we have, please turn off your mic, please turn off your mic, everyone. Okay, so yes, we have entry. Static entry to go on to this particular destination. You can go via 200, 210. This is AD value, exit interface. This is what default route entry. To go on to any unknown destination, you can go via 10.1.23.10, port number 3. Yes, we have a route. If we have a route, so we can verify our connectivity, execute, ping. So from firewall, I'm trying to ping my loopback 1.1.1. I'm getting reply, execute, ping. I'm trying to ping my outside, other side, R2 loopback, ping 2.2.2. Oh, sorry, it's a 3.3.3. Wait, it's not 2.2.2. So we are getting reply. Clear this option, how to create static and default route. Everyone?
Yes, I have one question regarding
Yeah,
this one.
sure.
Yeah, like in CCNA and CCNP, like we have 2 routers or 3 routers. So we are like configuring the routing. Okay. So it is between routers. But now in the middle, in this scenario, in this topology, in the middle, there is some firewall, like Fortinet firewall.
Yes.
So yes, so we didn't configure any routing in the R1 or R2. Only we configure just only here in the FortiGate, the routing. So what is the benefit?
See, I'm not configuring routing on. See, I'm not configuring routing on R2. Our focus is on right now what? How to configure on firewall. Our focus is on what? How to configure on firewall. Yes, Amit.
Yes, in practical life, what is the benefit? What is the benefit of this type of like routing and like? So this is my question.
Okay, why we are configuring routing on firewall?
Yes.
Okay, Amir, I have a device. Okay, in my organization, I have a device. Okay, let's take example. In my organization, I have a device, firewall device. Okay. Now I want to connect this firewall device with LAN and with Interact. What I can do? Can you help me?
Yeah,
I want to connect
like,
my firewall with LAN.
Yeah, for the WAN we can use a default policy, default route, and for the LAN we can use
wait. Amir. Default policy is a different thing. Default route is a different thing. So tell me this is a two different options.
Default route.
Default route. So why you are configuring routing here? What is the use of routing?
Yes. So default route we can understand that default route we can use for the internet. Okay. But the static route we have to create the layer.
I'm giving you the idea. I'm giving you the idea how to configure static and default routing both. If you want to configure only default route, you can, no problem.
So my question is that one, that like what is the benefit in the actual real life?
Okay, why we are getting static? Okay, why we are getting static route? Do you know why we are getting static route? Why?
The static, we have to route.
These are the options. These are the options: static, default, dynamic. These are the options for connectivity. Okay, no need to use static routing. No problem. If you don't want to use, no problem. You can configure BGP, RIP, OSPF. I'm giving you idea in case if you want to configure static route. So yes, you can configure on your firewall. Okay, if you want to configure default route, yes, you can configure on your firewall. Yes, I'm not using static nets if I'm working with big network, if I'm working with big scenario. So no need to use static route, right? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So this is not my point right now. This is not my point, okay?
Yeah,
I'm telling you what right now. Yes, Amit, please.
Yeah, my question is this one, that in the actual scenario, in the real scenario, we will have the Fortinet. We will not have the routers because we have different branches. Okay. One is Abu Dhabi, Dubai, India. Okay, so we have different branches.
Okay.
And on all branches there is a FortiGate device.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay.
So,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm.
So my question was,
Please.
one is Mumbai, one is Delhi, one is Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
So, Amir, for connectivity, you can use multiple options. You can go with the RIP option. You can go with the OSPF. You can go with the BGP. You can go with the default route. No problem. You can configure any option. It's depend upon your scenario. Or you can connect all
Yeah,
these devices through, or you can connect all your branch office over MPLS.
but my question is this one, that like in this topology, we could use two FortiGate firewall.
Okay, you want to use 240 firewall box?
Yes,
Yeah.
like instead of router.
Amir. Right now, I'm not connecting multiple branch office. You can discuss here. Clear my point? Right now, I have a single firewall device. I have a small network. I want to learn how to work with a single firewall. I want to work on a single branch office. I want to work onto this branch office right now. After that, in VPN configuration, yes, you can connect multiple branch office. I will tell you. Right now, you are working with single firewall device. How to work with a single firewall device? How to configure routing? How to perform NAT option onto this firewall? Everyone clear my point? What about others?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Everyone, Mustafa, Jayaprakash,
Yes.
Arjun,
Okay, I got it.
Amir, clear my point?
Yes, I got it.
If you want to connect multiple branch offices, sure, I will tell you. Okay, but this is what? This is related with IPsec VPN. Right now, I don't have multiple branches. Right now, I'm trying to manage my one branch office here, this firewall device. After that, I can connect. If I know how to work with a firewall device, then I can connect firewall device, no problem. Okay, everyone clear now? Amir, clear for you? Amir? Okay. So now, this is the option. We can configure default route, we can configure static route. Now, let's go on to the topology again. And for example, guys, if I have primary and secondary, for example, I have a primary and secondary option. In my organization, I have a backup plan. I have a backup route, for example. This is what our primary network. And I have a secondary option, backup link 10.1. For example, 32.0. This is what our secondary network. So let's go on to the firewall device. I'm trying to configure port number 4. Wait. So port number 3 is a WAN 1. This is called what? WAN-1. Port number 4. Port number 4 is my another ISP connection. So this is called what? WAN-2. IP address 10.1.32.1/22. Ping service. And I need to configure entry, static route entry. I got emergency call. Okay, no problem, Mustafa, no problem. Okay, so now I'm creating one more entry. Everyone, because this route I want to use as a primary and this one I want to use as a secondary. What we can do, we can create one more entry. So you can see, guys, we have a default for any unknown destination. You can go via 10.1.23.10 via WAN 1 port number 3. But now I'm creating one more entry because I have another route. So please help me. For unknown destination, I am creating one more route, one more entry. For any unknown destination, you can go via 32.10 and exit interface is WAN port number 4, this one. So I want to use this route as a secondary. Can anyone help me what I can do? I want to use this route as a secondary. It's a routing switching option.
We will change
So
the
AD,
increase AD value.
yeah.
We can change. Okay, what value I can use?
So we can
8.
No,
We
like
can
should
increase.
incrementally
We
WAN
should
1.
increase.
Exactly, because we want to use this route as a secondary, right? So I'm
Yes.
using 25. 25. Now you can click on OK. So for unknown destination, guys, you have two entry. For unknown destination, you can go via 10.1.23.10 WAN port number 3. For unknown destination, you can go via 10.1.32.10 port number 4. So we have two entry, but if you go and check your routing table, get router info routing table all. So in your routing table, we have only this route. We have only this route. Why this route? Okay, wait.
Better ID value.
Okay, we have only this route. If you want to guys verify all possible route, for example, because we have two entry. But in my routing table, we have only one option, because routing table is what? In routing table, we have a best route only. So yes, we have a best route. But in case if you want to verify all possible route, then get router info routing table database is a command. With this command, you can verify all possible routes. So yes, guys, we have two routes, right? Everyone, via this side, see, if you want to go on any unknown destination, via this side, we have an AD value 10, and via this side, AD value is 25. So we have two entry, but as per our routing concept, least AD value is more preferred. So that's why this greater than symbol, the selected route is here. Clear now, everyone?
Yes, sir.
If this link is down, then this route will take the responsibility. Clear? It's a simple routing switching concept. Kursimran, Amir, Arjun, Bharti, Jayaprakash, Nilesh, Sunita, Suresh.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, in case if I'm using same AD value, in case if I'm using, for example, 25, then yeah, if I have same, yes, exactly. If I have same metric, so both route will install into the routing table. See, both route install into the routing table. So guys, in case if I have two routes with same metric value, in static routing, our metric is what? AD value. In static routing, metric is what? AD. In RIP, metric is what? Hop count. In OSPF, metric is what? Path cost. In BGP, metric is what? So what we have in static routing, metric is AD value. Least AD value is more preferred. But let's take an example where we have two routes. With same AD value. And we cannot change, for example, we cannot change this metric value. So that's why both routes are available. Both routes are available in routing table. But now I want to go with the primary and secondary. I cannot change metric value, for example, but I want to go with the primary and secondary option. Then I can go with the priority value. Here is a concept of priority. Let's go on to this route. You can click on edit. You can click on advanced. You can click on advanced option, and here is a priority. What is priority? See, lowest priority value is more preferred. So here I'm using what? Here I'm using 10, this side, and via this side I'm using what? Via this side I'm using 35, for example. But again, your firewall will check AD value first. If there is a tie, then tiebreaker is least priority value. Clear this concept, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Suresh, clear here?
Yeah, clear.
Nilesh, Bharti,
Yes.
Jayaprakash, Amir.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
guys, let's continue our topic tomorrow. Okay, everyone? Let's continue this topic tomorrow.
But AD value we can set it and write. See.
Yes.
The most. So AD value we can play, right? Why do priority is lost, right? So you can play it.
See, this is just an option, Suresh.
Yeah.
In case if there is a tie, then you can use this option as a tiebreaker.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, everyone, let's continue our topic, this routing concept tomorrow.
Jitendra, one question, like when we change the priority, so the best paths will be, best route will be installed in the routing table, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I will upload this video, okay, after 1 hour. Bye, everyone. Take care,
Sure,
guys.
sir.
Good night.
Good night,
everyone.
sir.
Okay. Good night.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Good night.